Are you saying that climate change amplified the cost of human error?
Yes, it did. There's always going to be incredible things that people do to save lives, from the firefighters, from citizens, and there's always going to be decisions that are made that I'm sure aren't perfect in the moment.
Right. Like, why would anybody worry about fixing the power lines? That was an imperfect decision. But climate change is really the big problem, according to Hawaii's governor. You could see him earlier this week, actually Sunday, trying to whitewash the massive human failures that led to the Maui fire disaster. As of Friday afternoon, 7 lawsuits have been filed against Hawaiian Electric Utility, including 2 class action cases, another suit that is partly on behalf of someone killed in the fire. Jay Edelson's here, famed trial lawyer, the world's expert in suing power companies for starting wildfires. Look, to be fair, there's still people missing, and we haven't buried all the dead. So there's a lot of folks who are still grieving and hurting right now. That said, are we at the point of incompetence or of actual negligence that could have been willful?
Well, we just tried a similar case in Portland. It ended in June, and the jury said that under very similar circumstances, Pacific Corp had acted recklessly and awarded punitive damages. In this case, I think the facts are even worse. Hawaiian Electric was using really very much outdated equipment. And one thing that's unbelievable, they didn't even have a plan in place to shut the power off. They knew hurricanes were coming, and they did nothing. They sat on their hands. And now we have a situation, as you suggest, Leland, that where we've got, upwards of 1,000 people who likely are dead. We've got people are searching for loved ones. Being part of a wildfire, it's a nightmare, especially if you're in Maui. You're stuck between flames and the ocean, and there's nowhere to go. And yeah, I think there has to be some accountability. I disagree with the governor. The idea this is just about climate change is, I think the legal term is hogwash. And the utility company is gonna pay, and that's what we're here to do.
You think about the utility company, and look, I understand as a lawyer you go after the people who have the money and leave the politics to others. But we're looking at this video of people running into the water in Maui. It's something literally out of a war zone, and I say that as somebody who's been in a lot of war zones. It's something you never really think you would see in America, and it's disturbing. To that end, there's a second component to this, right? That Hawaiian Electric was very concerned and spent a lot of money on trying to meet the goals of the climate change enthusiasts, right, who wanted clean power and renewable power, and that takes money that could have been spent on fixing the power lines themselves. And in that sense, that may not be the electric company's fault. That may be one of these things that our government and our leaders are asking power companies to do too much effectively with too little. Is there any truth to that?
Well, the idea that electric companies have only 2 shiny nickels and they can't come up with another dollar seems far-fetched to me. This was a decision that they've made over decades, which was not to improve their infrastructure. And they've seen this play out in wildfire after wildfire. This is the 4th large wildfire case we've been involved in. It is ridiculous. And this isn't about just suing deep pockets. This is about trying to change something going forward. We are going to be here again in a year talking about yet another utility company that dropped the ball unless we start actually focusing on why these utility companies aren't willing to do what they need to do and protect their citizens.
Yeah, you make a great point that there's so many other places around the country that this is just waiting for. It was in California, then in Oregon, now in Hawaii, that it will just go on. Jay, it's good to see you as always. Thank you. We appreciate the perspective. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.